thought I'd complete this compilation of zero talks with my best t-shirt on from my musician friend who will remain unknown, but with no separation, never disconnected. So, final one, zero. We use many words to describe consciousness of God, or that ultimate whole experience, Brahman, Atman, Vishnu, absolute source. But the one moment that it revealed this, whatever we are talking about, this ultimate moment, this ultimate experience, this ultimate no beyond anything other than this, revealed itself as one moment. That's the name it gave itself, one moment. One moment is presence, awareness, here-ness. Ram Dass, be here now. Eckhart Tolle, the power of now. I originally began this sharing as here-ness, and that's basically never left. But it's now turned to zero. And it's the same. Zero is absolute source, consciousness, because everything has a point of existence, a point of being, a point of appearing, a point of not here, here, and that here is not here, 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 but the moment, here. I'm going to talk about my experience in relationship to this life, which may help you in your journey and your discovery. When you lose your whole self, your whole personality, your whole mind, your whole need to be here, you're a kind of giving up, a kind of surrendering to say, let me die. It's not a weakness because you're offering it to something. When you say, let me die, you're speaking to something. Otherwise, you wouldn't speak. Otherwise, you wouldn't acknowledge death and birth. We have been given a human system that says we can go this way or that way, this way or that way. We're not able to go both ways at the same time. That's the human egoistic way. That's what we have created. So it's the same in thought. If a thought comes, it's a human thought. It cannot be differentiated between a spiritual or a soulful or a past life thought. It's the thought that is appearing for you in the human body right now. It's a human thought. Therefore, it has to be recognized as I am the thinker and I have a choice to make. To follow the thought or not to follow the thought. So, when this that we are seeking makes itself known, doesn't mean you have to know what it is, doesn't mean you recognize it as that or anything that the mind says. When it makes itself known, you won't know in advance. You won't know it's happening to you in advance. That's the shock that U.G. Krishnamurti, Eckhart Tolle, and the speaker speaks about. This shock, boom. This shock is the return to zero. This shock is the shock of seeing yourself as beyond all the things that you could ever imagine. It's not a replication of your body. It's not a replication of what you know as a soul or a light. It is beyond all capable minds. It is beyond all incapable minds. this shock reveals something that is indescribable and incredibly able to maintain some sort of identity, some sort of dignity. Meaning, you'll get a sneak glimpse, but you have no clue what's going on. But your mind will get a message. It'll get a list, a shopping list, a task list of what you have to do before you die, before this body goes. And for this one, it's to speak. And other things, of course, in the human world. But I'm trying to take you to zero. It's not, don't try and meditate. Don't try and go into silence. Don't try and understand the words. Don't try and re-experience or copy what the speaker is speaking about. Just let it pass. Because when zero comes to you, your original root, your whole existence, your whole reason for being here, you lose the ability to communicate effectively. You lose the ability to paint pictures effectively. Effectively meaning in a human way of knowing. Why isn't the human that you're painting got 2 arms and 2 legs? It's not right. Oh, sorry. Explain to me what you want then. You lose all sights of right and wrong. But you don't go out and create any wrong, because a human being is not created, a biological body is not created to go out and do anything wrong. In the words of God, meaning, do not take another life. That's our own mind-made creation. Based on spirituality, religion, science, based on everything that you can say that we think we should be able to do or understand. To understand biology means you understand death. And death becomes that, oh, it's okay, that one died because now I can investigate. So your mind says death is okay. That doesn't mean to say you're going to go out and take someone's life, but there's that kind of seed planted that death is okay. There's no one guilty. There's no one innocent. This moment of zero. You see how difficult it is to, even the words are beginning to falter because you're trying to take some experience and recreate it. And it's impossible. We can't even recreate our last feces exactly the same. We can't say, well, that's a beautiful poop. I'm going to make an exact replica of that one. Can't do it. Even the machines can't do it. Even there are flaws. Zero. I'm going to try and humanly connect you through a human language, a human story. You reach this point, or something pulls you to this point. Can you, or have you ever experienced a moment in your life, even in deep sleep, or when you're sitting and your mind has drifted off and there's this sudden stomach where everything seems to collapse and you go, whew, whew, God almighty, that was frightening. And that's the void, that's the abyss, that's yourself. That's where zero is based. That's how frightening it is. That's how If you're not prepared for this, don't go there. If you want to live this life out, if you have a relationship, if you have things to do in this life, don't go there. Don't even attempt to go there. Don't seek. That's what Papa G said means by call of the search. It's not there for everyone. And it's not that you are special, that you got there. It's just that you were called. And you're not called for anything special. You're not called for sainthood. You're not called for an award or certificate. You're called. And like your employer calls you into the office and says, he calls you in for, or she calls you in for a reason. You made a mistake, don't do it again. Or it could be the opposite. You did a great job, please accept a pay rise. But both ways you're called. And you don't know. You're not expecting to get called. Because you didn't know you made the mistake, and you didn't know you were doing a good job. But something calls you and says, hey, you, now, right here, meet. You fell into that. Mooji has a wonderful way, I think it was in the video Dance of Stillness, to explain what the speaker experiences. It was like my whole inside fell out, and there was a and I disappeared. And in that void, in that place, you don't suddenly meet God, meet Jesus, meet Buddha. You have to simmer in that place. And you don't know you're simmering. You don't know you're in that place. But you knew you didn't stop there. Oh, you just let it go. And this is what they call the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is when you either go willingly or you don't go willingly. But again, I emphasize, don't go there. Don't go there unless you're called. And you'll know when you're called. Your mind won't know when you're called. You won't be able to sit down with your partner and say, I'm being called. Something inside stirs, something inside says it's time, something inside says just give up, just surrender, and allow this process to take place. But you're called. And you think you're special. But really, realistically, non-dually, there's not a you thinking you're special. You're remembering it right now. I remember my past right now. Is the past not happening right now? When you describe it through a story? If I say to you, I had this great experience as a child, I remember my first time I managed to swim. Is it not happening now? The actual swimming in the pool is not taking place, but the sharing of the story is happening right now. So therefore, I am swimming in the pool. To you, I'm swimming in the pool, and to me, I'm swimming in the pool. You know everything about your life once it's been revealed. How stupid, Popsy. How foolish to say that. You know. Once you've driven the car, for the first time you get out, you say, I drove the car. I always knew I was going to drive the car, and I drove the car. What am I so surprised about? Now, what's next? And you don't know what's next till a thought comes in and says, right, let's go drive the motorcycle. You drive the motorcycle, you get off. Wow, I drove the motorcycle. I always knew I was going to do that. Everything makes sense. Everything makes sense in the void, in the abyss. the wisdom is revealed, how the universe was created, how God was created, how God created humans, everything revealed. But do you want me to share it to you, how it was revealed? Yeah, okay. You understand that? No, of course you don't. Just like you don't understand you were going to drive the car. Just like you didn't understand the car would be created. Those that were born before the car was created didn't know the car was going to be created, but it was created. And they knew it. Oh my God, I always knew that was going to happen. There's no synchronicities. Everything has happened in one moment. Everything is appearing as if it's moving along this one moment, like this conveyor belt. I'm keeping you attached because I can't get to the point. Something is saying, don't get to the point. Don't try and project that you're not able to project. When 0 is attained, you're expecting a beautiful pat on the back from a God, or from your higher self, or from emptiness, or from soul, or from spirit, or from your great-great-grandfather, who appeared to be some sort of mystical saint. You're expecting something like that. And what it says is, what the hell are you doing here before your time? What the hell are you doing here before your time? You accepted the contract of this body. You accepted everything. You accepted the suffering, the pain, because you knew you were going to face this. Your mind doesn't know. Your mind is learning. Your mind is, why? I knew that before. I didn't know that. Now I know that. You're beyond mind. It says you're beyond mind. You are the giver of birth to mind. You are the giver of birth to thoughts. You are the giver of birth to everything. Within yourself, of course, not in its entirety. That's God. Now get the hell back. You've tasted your 0 state. So fucking what? Who do you think you are? And you say, I don't know. And he said, this voice says, of course you don't know. I'm not. You think I am going to lower myself to individually recognize each one of you as something special. Collectively, you are special. Collectively, you're special. The moment you treat someone different from yourself, the moment you cannot accept that being for what it is, the moment you judge it, value it, analyze it, think you can fix it, you are that separate entity. And I don't recognize separate entities. Now get the hell back. And that's a shock. The shock is that you're expecting to be reunited. And you realize that you were never detached from that you wanted to be reunited with. The joy behind that voice is, wow. So it's a sweet and sour situation. You've offended God, offended consciousness. But they've revealed something because of your determination, your gladiator approach, your discipline, and your need, your desire to find something that is worth finding. That's why you know that opposing states don't exist, because God was angry, but he was smiling. God was angry, but he was happy. God doesn't have two sides. Only has one side. You've touched one side. You've touched 0. And when you come back, you don't go back as 1 plus 1, you go back as 1. You go back as an individual and you go back as one whole. And you cry. You cry for days and days. Weeks and weeks, months and months. Tears of joy. But you're not free from ego. You're not free from your own ego. Ego picks itself up, dusts itself down and says, hey, I could have stopped that, you know. Ego itself is smiling and crying at the same time. Everything becomes one. Everything becomes non-dual, but not in the sense of that non-dual speaker. Oh, everything is beautiful, everything is whole, everything is one. You know you have no effect on any other being. I have no effect on you. Whatever you think, whatever you want to believe, whatever you think, you know, you imagine, I have no effect on you. No human being has an effect on any other human being. It has effect, our mind has effect on each other's minds. But our zero state, when it blossoms to become a woven nothing and something state, it chooses to walk away from effects or from non-effect. It thinks it can affect. It thinks nothing is better than something one day and something is better than nothing the next day. It thinks that you are better than her or she is better than you each day. That's effects. The effects that you are and that you create, that you long to live with and that you are happy with. Nothing wrong with judging. Nothing wrong with valuing, analysing in our mind state, as long as you as long as you start realising that God doesn't give a shit whether you're a good boy or a bad boy. You have no effect on God. You have no effect on your zero state. But collectively all is zero is God. Now, I don't know where I went. I don't know if I got there at the end. But you're picked up from God. When you're shocked, He doesn't leave you there to die. He says, picks you up and says, now, okay, dust you down. Here's your ego. Here's your mind. Get your hell back. It's going to take 7-9 years for you to get back to the way that you were before that. But that 7-9 years will be a lesson of joy, but a lesson of sadness, because your family won't recognize you. You'll lose 7 years to 9 years of your human life. But they're worth losing. As long as you don't measure your human time life against any other life. Because time is an illusion. Time is the fool. Tell all the people, God says, they're all fools if they follow time. They're all fools if they follow separation and division. They're all fools if they follow that opposing state. They're all fools. But fools suffer gladly when they have a desire. I don't want to leave this compilation of stuff as if it's a tragic event. You cannot escape God once you've tasted God. You cannot escape this void, this abyss, once you've tasted it. It is pure pot of love. Intricate, but here, in this present moment. Your insides have been washed out. You become that reborn human, as Christ says. You don't associate with this thing up here. It's just keeping the body operating. All the thoughts are here. All the emotions, all the senses are truly connected to that invisible umbilical cord as you traveled along to get to that abyss. It's a bath, you see. It's a birth. Christ calls it a rebirth. You've disregarded this birth, this body, and you said, no, I want to go back into the original birth. So instead of mum's umbilical cord that was connected to you in this physical form, you go inside to that one that is exactly in the same place as this navel on the other side, and you travel along that one. And we call it I. And the birth is that hollow abyss, black hole. And you've been reborn. And when you come back, you don't disregard that one, that inner one, and you don't disregard this one. You become one. And zero is no longer a necessity. You cannot escape zero. You are zero. But now you're one. And they call it non-duality. They call it God consciousness. They call it one with God, one with everything, one with life. And you still go through the same things. Your body will die. You go through pain. You go through suffering. You go through illness. You go through drama. You go through attaching to relationships and all that stuff. So at the end of the world, you see. If you're smart, you don't go into the caves of the Himalayas and sit and wait for your body death. You utilize this body. You be happy, and you reveal your happiness to all. Not by doing something stupid to get their attention, but you just appear and smile and be present and love and hug and all that stuff. And when someone dies, you cry. And when you want alcohol, you drink alcohol. And when you don't want to go to bed anymore, you don't go to bed anymore. And when you want to work 12-hour shifts, you do it just for the sake of it, just for the hell of it. You don't attach to it. But you have to pretend a lot. You have to fit into the world of your family. You have to pretend that you're unhappy. You have to pretend that you're not liking your job. You have to pretend that you're doing all this stuff. And of course, you're not pretending in your human mind, ego state. You hate it. I hate my job. But I love my job. That's when every time an opposing angle comes in, God pierces you in the stomach and says, whoa, you're going away. I hate it, but I love it. I love it, but I hate it. You stay middle Buddha. You have no choice. It is what it is. And that's what everything about being a human being is about. To realize that everything is as it is. Everything is one moment. You're zero appearing as nothing, appearing as something, appearing as the whole universe, appearing as the whole galaxy. But you have choices to go to the particular places whenever you want. I'm off to zero now. I'll see you there. Tomorrow? Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7. Who knows? Beautiful t-shirt, yeah? Thank you. Namaste.